That's a question about Jill Adamski and Dinner Red. That's the main two that's against the bill. I think Robert Rivera's against it too. Is against this bill too. I think he said he got at you on the phone. He had a conversation about you on the phone. Yeah, somebody spoke. But let's say Jill Adamski. Like she's saying that like this bill will hurt her job. Like it will take away her job, and she's like the biggest advocate against it. What do you think about that? What's your response to that?
Look, the Conservancy is saying we're in a new. Somebody just fell.
It happens a lot. I mean,
I just want to make sure.
All right. So yeah.
Yeah, we're in a new time. You know, it's 2025. The horse carriages are too dangerous to have in busy areas. Horses spook, they run wild. Look, San Antonio, Texas is shutting them down. Chicago has banned horse carriages. Montreal, Canada, Paris, all these cities around the world for the same reason that in the modern busy cities, it's just not possible to have safe or humane horse carriage rides anymore. So, you know, the legislation has a job retraining program, and
can you explain the train retraining? Because somebody might, what is that? Can you explain that in context?
Well, it's just written in the legislation that essentially the city would create a workforce retraining development program. So essentially the city would commit to finding new jobs for these drivers if they need. They claim to be part of the union, so perhaps they could actually have real union jobs, because right now they don't.
Speaking of unions, because I know the union that's backing those horse carriage drivers is TW100. Now, TW100 is a real powerful union in the city. Do you think that the reason this bill's getting a lot of trouble getting to the city council because of TW, and the biggest advocate against it is the former head of the union, now the national, John Samuelson, who's I think he's really nasty. He's a real nasty guy.
I think he gets talking points from Donald Trump. That's exactly who he sounds like, Donald Trump on social media. But anyway, I think it's shameful because he is representing wealthy owners. The workers in the business have zero worker protections. They're not even classified as workers. They're misclassified as independent contractors. They have no protections if they get injured. So these workers don't have safe, stable jobs that provide stable employment. And we would like for that to change. And hopefully John Samuelson could actually start doing things to protect the actual union workers instead of this sham where he pretends that these are union jobs when it's a handful of owners who are, in our opinion, exploiting those workers, who just, it's a cash-only business. On days like when it's very hot or humid, we've had carriage drivers say they can't pay their bills because they're just not making enough money. They don't get a salary, they don't get overtime, they don't get workers' compensation or disability if they're injured, they don't get unemployment. What kind of jobs are those? Those are not, we want better for everyone, and cities evolve. Jobs are phased out when they're no longer appropriate. So while I understand that some people might only want to work with horses, we're not arguing that, but it just simply can no longer be done in the middle of Manhattan any longer.
Yeah, so you think it should be just abolished, please should be out in the outer boroughs.
Absolutely.
Abolish
Just like the Conservancy said, it needs to go. I mean, we're in 2025 and they've had a long run here in the city, and like other cities have modernized and evolved, it's time that we get past this.
So one more thing, another thing, like what do you think about electric? You think it should go electric? Like
No, I think we're not. That's not part of the legislation.
No more. They took it out, right?
It's just the Conservancy wants to make the park safer for everyone, and I don't think they want electric carriages in the park.
No.
I think we already have pedicabs, and those are a good alternative to horse carriage rides. They're very popular. More people take
So
those
should it be like Jill and Dinnerwed? Mainly Jill and Dinnerwed. They're the biggest two people that against what you guys going on. They're on social media. I think Dinnerwed and Jill Adamski. Do you think they should be striving should go to be pushing more for pedicabs and stuff like that more than pedicabs, more than just doing horse cab drive? Like they should be trying to work for that. Like they should be doing
pedicab drivers.
Yeah, you think that'd be a better alternative?
I'm not going to tell anyone what they should do.
Yeah, well,
it would be a similar job giving tours in the park, and I think it's a safer, less cruel way.
Yeah.
You don't exploit a horse who might collapse or die. That's the thing. collapse. Horses can spook, run out of control, collapse, die, like what happened last week. At any time, in any place, whether there's a carriage full of a family with a newborn baby, that's why it's so dangerous and unpredictable. So that's one of the reasons why it has to stop.
So, can I ask you a question? Do you think that the chair of the health committee, Mrs. Lynn Shulman, the reason she won't do this because she's captive to the unions, like mainly TW100.
So I think it's totally the union is lobbying against this, and
they're one of the most.
But I think the fact that the Conservancy now is joining the call to shut them down. They manage the park, they run the park. It's like your host telling you got to get the hell out of here because you're a bad guest.
So it's really like my question is like, where's the riders lines on this thing? Because TW, I think you guys work hand in hand with the riders lines and the riders lines. They they own they're nonprofit, the Rado Day, but yeah, and you by yourself. So what do you think about this? Mayor, you think that this mayor, next mayor should support this? Like Madani or?
The majority of New Yorkers support it, so why not?
Yeah. And so what about, so any message to the people that might be opposed to this? Like Jill, maybe opposed to this bill, like Jill and.
We don't want to be their enemy. We just want a better situation for everyone. This is what New Yorkers want, 71% of New Yorkers. We hear from people all around the world that don't want this kind of abuse any longer, so I'd say it's 2025. We need to just like other cities around the world have evolved beyond this. That's what needs to happen. So we don't want to be their enemy. We just, we're advocating for a safer, more compassionate New York City, and horse carriages just don't fit into that any longer.
So what can you explain to the regular person that new to horse riding in the city? If the weather gets, can you explain what's the law with a horse got to be taken out of commission?
If it hits 90 or above, or when the equine heat index is 150, so on a very humid day, very, very humid, then when the temperature plus humidity reaches 150. So we strengthened those laws. They fought against it, of course. We strengthened the laws several years ago to include humidity into the bill, into the law.
Who fought against the bill?
The horse carriage.
The horse carriage. And the union too?
Yes, they all.
TW1. So what's the unions that against that? Is TW that's the only union that's against this, or is it many?
Yeah, I think Samuelson made a deal with some of the owners, and that's where we're at.
And
There's
so.
no rhyme or reason to it. It doesn't really make sense because they're not union members in any sense of the word.
So the average quality, let's say right now, be like 80. Right now, be like 90 degrees HDMI, right? HDMI. So you think there should be the law to lower that? I'll probably take this out mainly and everything.
I mean, I just think right now we just want them to be shut down.
Yeah, I understand.
There's no amount of regulation that can end the suffering of these horses because unfortunately many people that run the business don't follow the laws. They put sick horses out to work that then collapse or drop dead. Horses that are injured in bad shape. We have a horse trainer with us who has for many years been in the park seeing that these are horses in very bad shape. Imagine being chained up and forced to pull carriages 10 hours a day when you have painful leg injuries and every step hurts. That's just despicable. Deplorable, if I use the word. Maybe you want to talk to
Jill Adamski.
Yeah, huh?
Jill Adamski and their antics very well.
Well, say what the antics. Can you explain the antics, please?
For the first 3 years that I've been doing this, pushing 3 years that I've been documenting these horses and reporting it with Edita to the city horses that are lame, underweight, neglected, issues with their hooves. And also what's been mentioned now is safety. Adamski's accused those talk about jobs and them losing their jobs. They've been trying to get the pedicabs thrown out of the park and lose their jobs for the last 3 years nonstop with false accusations. Constantly, they terrorize them in the park. They approach their fares. So, what's fair? If you don't do your job right, if you're here to use a horse on the streets of Manhattan and you're not taking care of them correctly and maintaining them properly, not housing them properly, working them properly, and the city decides that it's time to end it, it's time to get another job.
Yeah.
That's the simple answer.
Yeah. I
Been there, done that. That's life.
I understand. So do you think that like Jill is just trying to preserve her thing and just like make it only for
Of course,
herself?
everybody does, and that's a natural reaction. But you can't go lying like she's posted about me on Twitter, where that I actually tried to harm family members of my own, and that I lost my driver's license. The lies takes away credibility and proves to me that you're hiding something. And that's what it's about. If you do your job well, if you care about your animals, there's no problem. The real problem is they don't do their job, they don't care about the animals, and they have no intention of trying to fix it. It has to end.
So one more thing is, do you think that they think that you guys are inhumane when you guys leave like the horses out? Like, say the horses ride right now, they say that you guys are inhumane for letting horses like ride on the streets like that. Like, even right now, this is not even like humid weather, but they'll say that you guys are inhumane for.
No.
That's what she's saying. Like, she's saying her.
But
I mean,
that's,
not.
again, they take broad strokes and they just make accusations. They have no experience when it comes to actually using a working animal. I raced horses for almost 40 years. I've been involved in harness racing myself, licensed by the state of New York since 1985. There's a proper way to work a horse, and it's 24 hours a day. And there's no excuses like the excuses they make. Oh, you ever hear someone say, "Oh well, horses die"?
Yeah.
Never have we ever said that, because there's no due diligence when they purchase these horses at the beginning. This horse had a pre-existing condition, is what they found in the necropsy. Where's the blood analysis when they purchased the horse? No, it's a rubber stamp by the veterinarian, who also has taken sides with us when it comes to reporting some of the horses in Manhattan that were lame. And I have the documents with me today from their own veterinarian agreeing with us. So it's all about the truth. They fear the truth. At the beginning, I even offered to help them. They immediately admonished me. So what is it they're hiding?
Yeah. So, I understand. Yeah. So, another thing is like, what do you think about the situation with Ryder McKeever? They use that to say like, you guys are inhumane, like, because Ryder McKeever, like what he did, Mr. McKeever. Yeah.
When a horse is down and you're a horseman, you should know why he's down. That horse was exhausted. I can tell you, and the reason I knew more about that horse than any of them is I saw his freeze run. I trained standardbreds for 40 years. First of all, they lied about his age with the city. Okay? Ryder was a standardbred. His real name was Hi-Ho Cheerio. He was registered with the United States Trotting Association. He raced for a few years, was purged from the industry because he didn't make any money. They end up as Amish horses pulling buggies, and then they come here at the end. But he had no idea why that horse was down. That horse was down out of exhaustion. His age absolutely played a part in it. Any pre-existing condition is on them. And to beat a horse to get up, you feel as though that they just went down for, they said he fell and was down a few minutes. He was down for over a half hour. Everything is lies. The reason I ran from 63rd Street last week down to 51st when I got the call, 20 minutes after what happened, that's the fastest I've seen them get a horse off the street. They didn't want any transparency or any documentation by the media, especially, of her dead on the street. Because if I would have gotten there, their own stable manager, Connor McHugh, was video giving the horse water while she's laying dead on the street. He didn't know she was dead. So what does that tell you? Experienced horseman? Never in my life have I ever dealt with people.
And another thing about John Samuelson, what do you think about John Samuelson? Like, he's the main guy that's really like against his bill.
He's doing his job as a union. Another thing about the union is they only protect and accept membership from the owners of the horses.
Kenneth,
Not the actual owner. And nobody talks about that. They won't tell you. When a driver gets hurt or is sick or is out for any reason, they have no medical insurance, no benefits with TW Local 100. MTA, all the work. Notice they don't call them workers. Because they don't cover them. Just the ownership. Why? Question.
Yeah. So you think that the chair of the union, the chair of this committee, the health committee, is scared of the union? Like, why does Bill
In New
not?
York City, anything's possible because things have been instituted for so long and just considered normal. It's time to normalize. Just like they say, Christina Hansen will say that these horses helped build New York City. The park was built around horses. Yeah, in the mid-1800s. Look at Manhattan today. I've been around horses since I grew up on Staten Island, where this man actually is
Hank Morano.
representative of my own district.
Yeah.
And I would never, for any reason, bring a horse in Manhattan, even to just show for kids to pet.
Yeah.
Never.
It's
It
too.
is the literal opposite of what nature demands of a horse, that you give a horse every day. These horses are trapped in these stables, 14 hours a day, no windows, in a 12 by 10 box store.
Yep.
That's their life for 46 weeks a year.
So, do you think that the NYPD's like horses should be destabilized too? They should be done too because they go to the same inhumane
Well, they do a much better job. You're talking about the NYPD mounted?
Yeah, Mountain Dew. Yeah,
Well,
they still.
everybody's familiar with the one up in Midtown.
Yeah.
There's two more down here that are nothing like that one. That one's a palace for a horse. They do have indoor riding rings. They get some. They don't get time outside. They do give them extended breaks and multiple breaks. So do they do a better job? Yes. They have a bottomless budget. The horses look amazing. But it's night and day compared. Is it right nowadays to me? I think the mounted are unnecessary.
Yeah, they are. I think it should get something different. And yeah, so you think that like here, the air is not that well here. It's this really badly.
We have, in both, I'm not in thoroughbred racing, I'm in harness racing, but we have minimal rules that the state who governs just in New York State Gaming, same organization that governs the casinos and the lottery, governs horse racing, both sides. And for the most part, when you walk into a racing stable, you're surrounded by people who actually care about the horses.
Yeah.
And we'll notice they'll be able to identify an issue before it ever becomes an issue. That's the difference. These people come in, pull a horse out, throw a harness on. They do not go over their horses at all. Take them straight to the park, and before they even put a brush on them, they're in the park. So I don't even want to go into how many lame horses I found in Central Park that we recorded.
Yeah. So and another thing is like, what do you think about like, you think that the air quality should be lowered for this, or like the air quality should be lowered, like to be decommissioned? Yeah.
I always say it like this: if we're in pain, what would we do for ourselves? If we can't breathe, do you want to bring your horse outside?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You know, air quality, depending on, you know how it is in the summer down here. You got the heat, the humidity. You add some smoke in it from Canada, and you don't want to be outside. So would you force your animal to work in that? They even tell you to keep your dog, walk your dog, get back inside. You're just asking for problems.
Yeah.
Especially horses are actually the size of a horse. Nature designed them very light. They have a very weak digestive system, cardiopulmonary system. Their legs, when you see it structurally, aren't built to carry the load that they carry all day. Specifically, pulling a carriage 10 hours a day on the streets of Manhattan. But there's a lot of opinions on whether horses should be worked on particular days. I don't do anything if I feel it's going to endanger the animal, just don't do it.
Yeah.
That's it. Just don't do it. I don't care if it's about money, because most of the time, last year, perfect example, when the AQI was over 300 here and the city was orange, the mayor declared the health emergency, everybody get inside. They stayed until they were forced out of the park. There was nobody on the streets. So it just shows you that attitude, the mentality. They don't care about the animals.
Yeah.
They don't even care about themselves.
Yeah. And do you think that like this situation with the opposition is really messing everything up? Like
I think I look at it this way. I've been trying to not. Conservancy is one thing, but some of the things that I've reported to the city are everything that Conservancy is saying. They feel as though they're above the law. They abuse the park. They abuse the public. They abuse everybody. Myself, anybody that has anything to say against them. But now with the Conservancy,
Central Park,
the Central Park Conservancy, writing that letter to both the mayor and the speaker, they are now aware of it by the people that manage the park. If they ignore it and something happens again, lose horse, somebody gets hurt, anything, it's on the city. Yeah,
it is on the city. The thing is that I think that the speaker is one of the biggest adversaries because she's captive to the union. She loves the union. You have a finance chair,
The union took this on, I think they've only been their union for 2-3 years. Okay? They're not an institution with this union. They try to make the comparison to the MTA that is a vital form of transportation. The horses only operate in that loop in the park. You lose the subways, you got a problem. I've had does anyone realize that Christina Hansen is on a video on YouTube stating about how she used to enjoy going back to the stables? Now they're being represented, they say, by this union, who also represents the MTA.
Yeah.
This is a form of public transportation. They take the safety of the public in their hands when they hop in this carriage, right? She says that she used to love the days going back to the stable, having some beers with the boys, and working on the carriages when they needed repairs. Are you going to be able to get away with that if you're an MTA worker working on brakes on a subway car? That's the problem. They don't even respect the union. Who says that? Do you want a taxi cab driver who's licensed and medallion by the city of New York, driving drunk?
No.
Operating drunk?
Nope.
Caring for the vehicle drunk?
Nope.
Having a few beers?
No.
The video is on YouTube. Save it in case she takes it down, but
Yeah.
just have the audacity to say that. It just shows you that they don't care. It's just it's more of a thing to do for them. It's not a career. It's not something that helps improve the attraction in New York City to build more tourism, generate revenue, keep the businesses down there.
If you want, so it says, so yeah.
It's just got to end.
Yeah.
There's no fixing it. That's the other thing. There's no fixing it. No amount of regulation is going to make it better. It's just.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Christopher, I'm an independent media journalist. Yeah. On social media. So basically, that's a lot of what's happening here. Frank Moreno. So, can I ask you a question? Can you, yeah, I understand. No problem. Oh, you got to start soon? All right, no problem. So got a nice interview right there. Frank Moreno's right there. I'm gonna log off, uploads to YouTube. So, take care. Enjoy your day.